Chelsea sack Liam Rosenior. This club is in shambles. Like they are. Mm-mm. This is horrible. This is terrible. This is peak embarrassment. Like I know and I agree that that performance against Brighton yesterday was the worst of Chelsea that I've seen in years. There was no fighting spirit. There was no confidence in the player. It didn't look like the players were fighting for anything. It didn't look like they were even playing for the fans or for the team, for the club. They didn't look like they were fighting for even each other. It was that bad. And yes, a lot of people will say it's down to the coach. It's down to Liam Rosenior, for him to be able to manage that sort of situation. But I guess what he said after the game, where it seemed like he had been taking responsibility for a lot of their performance, and this time around it was going to be down to the players. They didn't look like they were fighting for each other, and he just kept saying that the performance was not acceptable, which I totally agree with. That performance was nowhere acceptable. However, I feel like also I don't think these players, and I did say yesterday that I didn't think these players believed in the coach in whichever way or form. Liam is young. He is extremely young. These players themselves are young. And so they need a iron hand. They need an experienced coach. They need someone who can tell them this is how it's done. And they will listen. That they did to a degree with Enzo Maresca. And I think that just the fact that, and you could tell that the players, a lot of the time, the players were really playing for Maresca. They were playing for Maresca, but Maresca doesn't know that this quality of players, these players are too young to understand this sort of pressure. And so he kept telling the club owners that they needed to sign experienced players. And a good example was when Cowell had an injury. And he kept saying to them that you need to sign a centre-back, which was absolutely true. You need to sign a centre-back if you want to keep competing. He was able to at least keep them in 4 good competitions. Liam somehow, that performance against Paris Saint-Germain was already, it was the beginning of something that the fans were not used to. Losing in that manner, no, I'm sure nobody saw it coming. And so him getting sacked today, I wouldn't say it's a surprise, right? But then again, you're trying to build stability, and honestly to God, I don't think the owners have also been accountable for their decisions. Because whatever it is that this club is going through now is down to the owners. It's the decisions they've made. They should never have parted ways with Enzo Maresca in the first place. He's a good coach. He knows what that experience is about, that pressure. He knows what it's about, and he's a tactical coach. With Liam Rosenior, I don't think I see him. At no point did I think I ever saw that. So definitely, yes, it's disappointing that he's sacked, and it's another loss for the owners because they now have to pay him off. Even though the amount that is being said is going to pay, I don't think that's what he's going to get, because I'm sure the contract is also based off of performance and all that, and if they get results. But obviously, the last 5 games, they've not gotten a goal. No single player has scored a goal. Not one. So definitely, I feel like it's been terrible. The owners have to be held responsible for this decision. I know a lot of people will also say, oh, the sporting directors. But the truth is, the sporting directors are only following instruction. If the owners of the club have said, we just want you to sign young players that we can sell in the next 4 or 5 years, they can grow, probably reach their prime, and we can make lots of money from them. You can't blame them if they are signing all these children. If they're signing 16-year-old, 17-year-old, 18, 20, they are literally trying to save their jobs. And if your bosses tell you do this, you have to do it. So obviously, you can't blame the sporting directors. You cannot. I get that they also should have done better. It doesn't exactly have to be the youngest of the youngest players you're going to sign. But as I said, it is down to the owners. The owners have to be held responsible. They have to be accountable for whatever it is that is going on in that club. Since they took over, I don't know how many coaches now. Graham Potter, Thomas Tuchel, Pochettino, Enzo Maresca, now Liam Rosenior, Frank Lampard. It's crazy. 6 coaches in just how many years? 3 years, right? I think they took over in 2022. 4 years. 6. That is crazy. Honestly, these owners, and I think probably that's one of the reasons why the fans are really agitating for the owners to leave. The truth is, they can't leave. They just have to revisit this whole project thing. When you're a Premier League club, there is nothing like project. And it's not even for a club as big as Chelsea, one, the club has so much history. 2, the fans are already used to winning trophies and winning titles and just doing it in the big stage. You can't just come and say, oh, you want to be signing young players. It is never going to work because those players are not experienced enough to be able to handle the pressure of the Premier League. They've not won the Premier League in over how many years now? 8 years? I think the last time they won it is in 2016 or so that they won the Premier League. So really, when you look at that, you just think to yourself that how exactly did they get to this point? How did they think it was smart of them? And these owners have to be really just be disappointed in themselves. They don't have any footballing orientation, but they thought it was wise of them to keep signing young players just because you want to make money back. If that's the case, you're not going to go far in football. Oh God, you are not going to go far in football. Football, it literally involves you spending. You can be smart about it with making sure that these players don't go out injured a lot and then selling them for a good amount of money. But these players have to also be old enough to be able to handle the pressure, give you what you want them to give you, and then you get value from them. Don't forget that these players also, or let me say even the club, they've had to record the highest loss in the club history. About £234 million. That's huge. They are not making money back. If you think, oh, you keep selling all these players for a certain amount of money, that is loss. That is absolute loss. It makes absolute no sense because you're not making profit. The team obviously is not going to be playing in the Champions League. How exactly are you supposed to make money back? They are not going to qualify for European competition. So definitely the money they are going to make is not a lot. Even if they end up maybe winning the Premier League, it's still not enough because playing in the Champions League is where the money is. That is where you make the money. Now you have sacked Liam Rosenior. Which coach do you want to bring in now that you think is going to be able to manage all this brouhaha that they are creating around the club? You want to sign a big manager, an experienced manager. You think with everything they've done in the last, 3 years, a proper manager is going to see that and still want to come in, except if the manager is all about the money. And he says, you know what, I'm just going to come and do what I have to do. If they don't sack me, good. If they sack me, I know I'm about the money. He's going to get his payout. Practically. So these things have to be revisited. These owners have to sit down, look at the things they've done, and talk to themselves. You can't keep making these decisions. It's a horrible, horrible one. And the way, if they keep going like this, I just hope that this club doesn't get relegated. Because you obviously cannot continue like this. The owners have to really revisit this whole project thing. And even with the project thing, it doesn't mean you can't sign 1 or 2 experienced players just to help with it. With everything that's going on now, which of these players do you think is experienced enough to talk to any of them? John Terry and Frank Lampard and Didier Drogba were playing for the club, when they were going through the tough times, there are times where the manager doesn't even have to say anything. It doesn't have to say a word. It's a case of the players having a meeting between themselves, and maybe it's John Terry that is saying something, or that is Didier Drogba that is speaking, just to let them understand what is going on. Which of them is it? Enzo Fernandez, who is granting interview every Eke Market day? Or is he Rhys James, his own captaincy? I don't even understand. Is from one injury bed to the other? Or do you even want to talk of Caicedo, who is young himself? How old is he? He's 23. Really, this decision and all this that is going on at the club is down to the owners. Bluco has to be, they have to be absolutely held responsible for whatever is going on with that club right now. It's really disappointing. Really, really disappointing. But yeah, that's what it is. I'm sure you guys have heard all my rants, right? Anyways, share your thoughts in the comment section what you think of that decision, if you think it was the right one, or you think they should have just stayed with him. You know, just give him till the end of the season and probably another season. Let him have a pre-season with them. I don't know. Share your thoughts, as I said, in the comment section. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Okay? Subscribe to the channel, please. It's really, really important. It's absolutely free, and it helps the channel to grow. So please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to put on your post notification bells to get our latest video when they drop, and follow us on all our social media platforms at _official FSH. Guys, enjoy the rest of your evening.